year is 1979. The setting, Tehran. A political revolution tears the nation asunder and spreads its population across the globe. A young woman lands in London, a young man in Miami. Their paths cross over the course of 4 fateful nights that lead to a marriage proposal. Could a bond built in such haste during this tumultuous era stand the test of time? I am your host, Trevor White, and this is Marriage Stories. All right, so another exciting week here on Marriage Stories. Today we are blessed with the presence of Ali and Mahvash. Welcome to Marriage Stories.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, we're very excited to hear from y'all today. So if you could, like we do every week here, introduce your partner.
Sure. Well, I'd like you to meet my beautiful wife, Mahvash, my wife of 40 years, and also my partner, my business partner for 40 years. And, you know, it's been a wonderful 40 years and some challenging years. But
Sure.
and challenging days too.
Yes. So where is Mahvash from?
Well, Mahvash, you want to say that yourself?
We are both.
Oh no, you can. I'd like.
Well, we are both
you
from Iran. We are both from Iran,
Okay.
and
Okay.
of course, I came to this country when I was 15 years old, and
Okay.
as a result of parents being divorced and sending me to boarding school, and
Okay.
then, of course, after finishing my education and master's, you know, I went back to Iran.
And that's where you met Mahvash.
Well, that's where our story begins because
Okay. Right.
in Iran, her mom and sister and my mother were good friends. And actually, before we met, 5 years prior in Iran, my mother was trying to fix her up with one of my army buddies. And I had a chance as I was walking out of the house. She was there actually to meet with the relatives of my army buddy that, you know, we went back in Iran. And I never ever imagined that 5 years later, she and I will be in a position to, you know, get married. So,
Right.
you know, a lot of things had to happen in between.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Life gives us many gifts that way. So.
Yeah.
So now, could you tell us a little bit more here about Mahvash? Like, what are some of her interests? What is she? What gets her excited? What is her thing?
Okay, about things that get her excited. Do you really want me to go into detail?
This is a family friendly podcast.
No, I'm just kidding. You know, I'm just kidding. No, Mahvash.
That's one of the reasons I got married.
Yes.
The laugh.
Yes.
The laughter.
Yes.
Yeah, so
he does have a good laugh.
Mahvash is probably one of the smartest girls that I came across. And seriously, I've dated so many, you know, before.
You did a survey of the women.
I did a youth survey. And I think one of my biggest things was I always wanted to marry a very smart girl. I was never afraid of somebody being smarter than me.
Yeah.
And being
right.
even more accomplished. And she definitely is that. You know, she's probably one of the most talented designers. You know, and she was the cause of our success in our business.
Yeah. Right.
So
her intelligence really drew her
absolutely
to you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, being beautiful didn't hurt either, you know.
Yeah. Wonderful. Now, Mahvash, would you say this is a fitting introduction to you? Anything else you would add for context before you introduce us to Ali?
No, actually, it was very interesting that when I went to her mom's house and his mom's house, and I was there planning to matchmake me with somebody else.
This is back when you met his army buddy.
Back in Iran.
Right.
And he was talking to my sister, and I didn't even turn back to see who he is. Isn't it funny? And that's, I call
Yes.
it destiny. Sometimes destiny
Yes.
it plays a big role,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
And that was it. And I was in England, and I was a student there. Then when the revolution started, I started working with the company in England, interior design.
Yeah.
And that was I was in England and Ali was in United States. So you can
Right,
continue
right.
telling our story.
Well, no. Now it's your turn here, Mahvash. I need you to introduce us to Ali because we haven't met him yet.
Okay. So,
Other than his
Yeah.
laugh.
one of the things, and I always say, one of the biggest thing for me in marriage was the fourth thing, very important. One is respect, one is love, and the other one is supporting each other and laughter, to be able to laugh with each other. So one of the things it grabs me, it was his laugh and sense of it.
Yes. Yes.
So I was in England, and then I went to visit my sister in Minnesota, and my mom was there, and his mom was here in Florida, and they planned to get together after many years that they hadn't seen each other, and I really wanted to go to New York. But my mom said, no, we
doesn't?
are going to Fort Lauderdale to see my friend.
Well, Fort Lauderdale is the New York of Florida, right?
So, yes. So we came here 40 years ago in August, actually. And we were guests of his mom. And Ali came to the airport to pick us up from the airport.
Okay.
If you ask him, he will say, as soon as I saw him, I was in love with him.
What kind of car was he driving?
Mazda?
Mazda RX-7.
Oh,
It was a
pretty
It was
cool.
a sports car, Mazda RX.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what he would say, that you
Yeah,
fell
that's
for him right away. Is that what you would say?
As I said, I never thought he's that age. I always had, because our family knew each other.
Right. Right.
His mom's second marriage was with my dad's best friend. So my mom and his mom, they were very good friends. But I was in England a student, he was in United States, so we never come across each other when we were there. And anyway, I never thought, I thought he is much younger than me. So when I saw him, I was quite surprised. And I thought, he's a good looking guy.
He had more stature than you
I used to
expected.
anyway. He didn't always look like this.
Yes. So we met. He picked you up from the airport in Fort Lauderdale 40 years ago this August. What happened from there?
So we went to his mom's house, her apartment, and apparently she used to introduce a lot of other girls to her. And
Oh, right. This was when he was doing the survey of all the women to determine.
And the secret between them was that if he doesn't like me, he's not going to show up after the first dinner that we had in.
Okay.
So we went there, we had lovely dinner, we spent the time together, and the end of the night, now I can remember his mom was very anxious to see what is his reaction.
Yeah, right. So his mother wanted you two to get together.
Yes,
That was
and
her
my mom
desire.
knew it also.
Her mom-
Those
Okay.
days, it wasn't an app. Those days wasn't a dating app. The dating
right.
app was where family and the friends.
Right, the dating app was mothers, right? Coordinating together.
Coordinating
Right.
together.
That was the Tinder of the time.
Yeah, so that was the old-time dating app. So
Right.
then, what happened, the end of the night before he goes, he turned back to my mom and he said, Mrs. Jalili, I would like to invite you for dinner tomorrow night. And my
okay.
and his mom started clapping.
And you're like, wow, dinner must be very
Here. So
exciting.
anyway,
Yes. So that was the signal to her that
yeah.
Ali was
Anyway,
interested.
we went to a couple of dinner with his mom, my mom, his brother, and the fourth night, the both moms they were very tired to go out for dinner, so
Okay.
they thought I don't understand it. I knew it's a plan, so they said, "Oh, we are tired. We don't want it to come. You guys go." So
Oh, right.
so
right.
we went to dinner, and he
Okay.
proposed
And that was the first time it was just the two of
two
you.
of
That's
us,
it.
and it was a fourth night
Fourth night of really knowing each other.
knowing
Right.
each other, and I think you had practiced to sort of like he has practiced to propose to me, and
Wow.
and I laughed and I said, "Are you trying to propose to me?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "You hardly know me." And he said, "No,
Right.
I have been dating so many girls, and I know how you have been brought up. I know your family. I know the mentality, and
Right.
I think we can make it together." So that sentence hit me. That
I think we can make it together.
we can make it together. And
Yeah.
of course, that really sat very nicely in my heart.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I I was joking around with him, and I said, "Are you sure it's not too much heat in Florida?"
Well, it is famous for that. So Ali, like, what inspired you for 4 evenings with
So
her?
basically-
and you felt ready.
Basically, because of the revolution that happened in Iran, and
Right,
then
right.
of course, it took a couple of years until I was able to bring my mother back to the States.
Right.
And from the first time, from the day one that she landed, she wanted to, get me all established and get me married. And she had introduced so many potential,
Right.
uh,
Suitors here.
Ladies.
people. And unfortunately, it's not something that you can just say, okay, fine, this is this one. But
Right.
and the time that she told me that they're coming to Florida, I made the pact with my mom. I said, listen, I'll come to the airport. I'll pick you guys up. But, if there's something that there's no spark, I'm not going
Right.
to show up because I don't want to have her, get this. But, frankly, we were there to pick her up from the airport. And she was coming down the stairs. And I could still remember this very vividly. No makeup on, nothing, very, very plain. But it was like amazing. Something like hit me over the head. I don't know what she did, but he's like, something hit me over the head. And
Yeah.
told me, this is it. Don't let this one go,
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so for me, it was because I'm always a person that I always gone with my gut feeling on everything in life.
You trust that gut feeling.
That gut feeling has guided me through everything in business,
Yeah.
in friendships, in everything.
Right.
And
Right.
with that, even with her, it was like something I knew it was right. And so when it came down to that fourth meeting that we went to, it was actually in a restaurant Fridays. And I'd already made
TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays.
Friday proposed me
Yes.
over the potato skin.
Right.
Oh, potato skins.
Right.
Yeah. Jalapeno poppers. I mean, you were talking about the heat in Florida.
So I was trying to get the words out of my mouth, and ask her to marry me in Farsi. And then she started to laugh. And I was trying to be so serious, and she started to laugh. And I said, "Why are you laughing?" And she said, "Well, are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, I'm serious." And
Yeah.
then she told me, "Well, we only known each other for 4 days." I said, I don't need more time.
Yeah.
I know this is something that is going to be right. I have that feeling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the funny part is, about a few days later, that she was going back to England, and I took her back to Miami. And this is a picture that we took in Miami Airport. I don't know if you can see this picture.
Oh, we should definitely have this for social media. Wow,
This is a
wow,
picture that we took in Miami, and she was
very
going back.
striking.
She was going back to London, and
Yeah.
and then and then I timed the amount of hours that the flight would take to London, how long she would take
Mm-hmm.
from taxi to go to. I rang, and as she was putting the key to her apartment, going in, the phone rang, and she picked it up, and I said, "I wasn't kidding. I'm serious."
Yeah.
and, and basically, I think that was when she knew that, I guess this is going to be it. And
So yeah, at this point, Mahvash, had you said yes to his proposal, or was it kind of
not
like
yet,
No,
not
Okay.
yet. She had,
actually,
Right.
I haven't. I didn't say anything. The only thing was
I don't think she ever said yes. That's what Bill.
it was
Yeah, she
actually
was like, "Give me some baby back ribs here, and let's see what happens
potatoes being
next."
loaded.
Yes.
The thing was that my dad was very famous that he can read through the people, and he had that very strong thing that
Yes.
he could not judge people, but he can see what the
Get a sense of them.
in the
Yes.
So when Ali proposed me and we went back to his mom apartment, I was very emotional. It was very
Yeah.
strange. I was very emotional, and my mom said, "Nobody is forcing you to marry him. If you don't want to marry him, nobody is forcing
Yeah.
you. We are just saying." But then my mom said, "The only thing I wanted to tell you." When Ali was in Iran and your dad met him, he came home and he said, "Oh, I met Quran's son and I really like him. I think he's a good person. I really
Yeah.
liked him." That was an assurance for me
Right.
that
Right.
I knew how my father was, how wise he was. And just telling that, it was like, okay, it's okay if I say yes and marry this guy.
And there was also this, like you were saying in that conversation, this feeling of like him saying, "I think we can make this work." Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That certainty, confidence that he had really
Exactly.
rang true for you. Right?
Exactly. And that was
So you got
really-
back to England,
Yeah, I
and
went back
from
to
there, what happened?
Do you want to say or should I say?
Well, then in our tradition, my mother goes over there to London at that time, and they, the
Sorry to interrupt you. And he brought the engagement ring
Right.
that he sent
Okay.
through his mom. And your mom
So I gave my mother the engagement ring, and she took it to London. And then at that time, then my mother, the tradition is they go shopping for the wedding dress, and the bride gets me, the groom, the outfit, and the groom gets the bride the outfit. That's our tradition in Persian tradition. And at that time, financially, I literally didn't have anything. I was just starting
Right.
a business and everything. So her sister, who lived in Minnesota, Rochester, Minnesota, being married to my brother-in-law was a professor at Mayo Clinic. They volunteered to throw the wedding for us in their house.
Oh wow.
But unfortunately, it turned out it was on December 22nd of the coldest year Minnesota ever experienced. And I was a Florida boy. I never understood really what type of climate am I going to. So
Right.
So meanwhile, I mean, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but we were conversing on the telephone for 3 months. From August till December for 3 months.
Okay. Right.
And my phone bill was crazy. I mean, I don't know how I afforded that, but
Yeah.
But and then our arrangement was that she'll fly to Minneapolis airport direct from London, and I fly
For the wedding.
for the
for
wedding,
the wedding.
and
Right.
I go to Minneapolis, and we both saw each other for the first time. Again, after 4 months in Minneapolis airport, we flew to Rochester, and I was not aware what kind of weather I was going to encounter.
Right.
I just had a pullover,
Yes.
and it turned out that was the coldest year Minnesota had ever experienced.
Right.
I literally almost froze to death from the airport to get into the car.
Yeah.
She almost didn't have a groom, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah. She needed to get you an extra warm groom's outfit. Right.
And the funny thing was when we got to the Minneapolis airport, we were talking for every day on the phone. So when I came out of the custom, I said, "Oh my God, am I going to recognize this guy that I'm going to get married?"
Right. Right. I mean, this is
We
you
came
spent I guess a week together.
a week
At
together,
this point.
exactly.
Yeah,
But that's it.
that's it.
And then I
Yeah.
said, when he came, I said, "Oh, can you go to the phone booth and we can talk on the phone?"
Yeah.
It
Yes.
but it was, when it's been, sometimes you have that connection with somebody that is a right connection. And of
Right.
course, is I always said to girls also, marriage is like any other thing, you have to work hard on it.
Right.
And you cannot.
Well, I guess that's the thing I'm so curious about, right? Because, obviously we made a significant impression on each other right away, right?
Right.
And so we get married. And what is that first year like, right? Because this
Yeah.
is now you're spending all of your days together, right?
Yeah.
What
Well, I
was
can
that
say
like?
that on her side, it was not easy because she came from a different, what do you say, London, which was a different type of a setting. She had her own place. She had her
So
job.
she moved to Fort
She
Lauderdale.
moved to Fort Lauderdale, and then she still had to go back to London a couple of times because she was still managing her visa status at that time, and so we didn't want her to lose her
Right.
thing for that. So it was like staying with it for a few months and then go back to London again for a few months, but until about 6 months later that she finally moved back to Florida permanently.
Yeah, basically we sort of dated after we got married. We
Right.
got married in December in my sister's house. God bless her soul. And we had a lovely time, and it was so cold that night. So by the time, I have to tell you this story, by the time they had booked this hotel, which is, the Rochester, Minnesota is only
Mayo Clinic.
and that's it. And the
Right.
best hotel is geared to the older
All the patients.
patient. But my
Right.
sister had made a reservation for a bridal suite, So by the time when the wedding got finished in my sister's house, it was so cold, and the car wouldn't, none of the people that they were there, the car wouldn't start. So by the time they took us to the one of the guests took us to the hotel, those days even it wasn't the card, and it was a key. So when
Yeah.
it was there, the person said, "I'm sorry, the person had a rider suite key has left because we were so late." So they gave us the normal bed. Normal.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
which actually everything is geared to the people that they go to
On the wheelchair.
wheelchair.
Right.
everything
Yes. Yes.
So we woke up in the morning. The hotel was very nice. We went to have a breakfast, and everybody was with wheelchair, with
Right.
the chips and
Right.
stuff. And don't laugh. We are getting there. We are getting there, darling. We went, and I said, "I cannot have breakfast here. This is supposed to be my honeymoon. Let's go."
Yes.
We went back to my sister's house, and all the family having a wonderful breakfast, and everybody said, what are you guys doing here? We said, we don't want it to be there anymore. So
Yeah.
our things, but the first thing was to be in there. But all is all memories, all the best
Right.
memories we had. And then
Right.
we come back to, after a few days, we came back to Florida and we start our life. And
Right.
as I
And
said,
Ali was saying that he thought it was harder for you adjusting,
Yeah, it was. I
moving.
mean, definitely a lot harder because I had already. First of all, I was living here. I was
Right.
used to
life is
the lifestyle here,
Right.
but and I had already started a business. But I never forget our plane landed at 1 o'clock in the morning, and instead of taking her to the apartment, I took her straight to our showroom. And I opened the door, and I had bought her this beautiful drawing board, and in a corner. And I said, "I just want you to see the place. You're going to spend a lot of time."
This is the storeroom for your business.
that's a sure.
That's a showroom, and of course we are talking to you from our showroom, and this
Right.
and that drawing board she
I
still has.
have it. I haven't
She's-
changed it for 40 years.
She hasn't changed it for
Wow.
40 years. She's still using it.
Wow.
But she came really into our married life, really not knowing what to expect. And I was the one that was basically taking the lead position. And I guess some of the difficulties that you have, I got married, I was just turned 31. And then you get set in your life a certain way.
Right.
You know
Right.
you learn to do things. You make up your mind and you do it. Or you don't ask questions. And once you get married, and of course, we didn't have a period of going out together, dating and things like that.
Right.
So
Right.
we really did not know each other that well. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't. She had certain expectations from me, which I didn't understand at first. And then I gradually learned. And
Yeah.
then, of course, I learned how to say I'm sorry very often. That was a very important thing to learn,
Yes. And now you said, Ali, that there was expectations that Mahvash had that
Right.
you were not aware of right away. That
Right.
you learned over
Right.
time.
Exactly.
What were some of those, Mahvash? Like, what
It
can you
was
remember?
like- When I came here, first of all, he was saying my car or my business. So the first thing I said, I'm sorry, when you sign that paper, there is no I, mine. Everything is us, we, ours. I think that's very important in every marriage, that you become one. There is not mine anymore, it's ours. That's the biggest thing, that was my expectation. It took him a
Right.
little bit of short time to change his vocabulary
Right.
about the things. Then
Right.
the other thing I learned from him, I cannot say we had fight, because I always told him, if something bothers me, I'd rather tell you than go and tell my friends and they give me a wrong advice. So try to listen. So that is another key, I think, in the marriage, to listen to each other. Change the vocabulary to listen to each other as hard as it can be.
Right.
That was another thing that I was insisting on it. But with all our saying, sometimes we used to get to argue. It's like any other people used to have
Right.
a tough conversation, tough
Right.
argue.
Right.
And women usually, we have good memories. We don't forget things. And we also drag it. Sometimes we drag things, which is a very wrong thing to do. And I learned from him not to drag it, cut it off. Like we were in the heat of conversation, and
Right.
I'm mad, and I'm upset, blah, 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 and I'm thinking I cannot talk to him for a couple of days. For me, it was one day not to talk to him.
Right.
He would go to another room. He come back and we said, "Okay, darling, where should we go for dinner?" And I'm like shocked. Oh my God, we just had a tough conversation. You go back,
Yeah.
come back, it's nothing happened. And that
Right.
was very, very good point from him. Because that stop of dragging something that it wasn't necessary. We went through conversation, we got angry, we discussed it. Okay, we solved it, that's it. Let's go of it and go happy.
Let's go to TGI Fridays again.
Yeah,
and-
let's
yeah.
go. Just forget laughter. Don't forget.
Yes.
Sense of
Yes.
humor is very
Yes.
important. Thank God.
Yes.
His sense of humor. And I have to say, he was a good looking. He's still good looking.
Still is. Yeah. Right. It's not a visual, media here, the podcast, but I can attest that Ali is still.
I
very
used to
good
say
looking.
he looks like Omar Sharif.
Oh yeah, Omar Sharif. The younger generation may not pick up that reference, but we'll post a picture of Omar Sharif and people will be able to compare and contrast.
Yeah.
That is quite a compliment. I would say. Now, Ali, what surprised you most in kind of the early years of the marriage? You know, like she's bringing up some of the things that she was surprised by.
Well, I think for me, there was never a surprise. It was all just adjustments.
Yeah.
Because
right.
I am a person that once I make up my mind, I don't go back
Yeah.
on my thought pattern. And I'm also a very positive person. I always look at everything in a positive way.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I just don't recall ever getting up and just, feeling bad. It's just like, okay, whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's behind me or it can get
Right.
better. But
Right.
the relationship between myself and Mahvash, of course, because we work together.
Yeah.
One thing that I think was the most important, it was the fact that we needed each other. The fact that you need each other, I think, is a very
Right.
important key.
Right.
And then, that's really probably the most important thing. And then also the fact that I truly respected her. I mean, to this day, I do.
Yeah.
I may not agree with everything she does
Sure.
or she says, but I respect her fully, So those things were important for me to be able to readjust myself
Right.
in our relationship. And
Right.
because we worked together for so many hours a day, then we had to go home together, I decided that very early on, we leave work at work. Once we close the door and we go home, whatever troubles we had, that's part of the workday. We don't
Right.
keep it inside the house. And I
Right.
think that was the
That's
reason. That was really the main reason we were able to work together. When she came in the showroom every day, she was our head designer. She had her own duties. I had my own duties. So there was really everything was understood, and that's how we started to manage that.
Now, y'all are at this wonderful point here, 40 years into a marriage, where you've experienced many of the transitions and difficult seasons that married couples do. And I guess I'm wondering, as you look back, what was the hardest time? What was the time, that you look at that was the most difficult?
Well, as far as our marriage goes, probably, not difficult times in our marriage, but difficult things that you go through life. Being in business together and having just one source of income.
Right.
Is it could be very demanding. on a
Right.
relationship. You know,
Right.
we are fortunate, and we thank God for that. That from the very beginning, our business flourished during the years that it did, and it allowed us to really build a good life for our children, and
Yeah.
to be able to carry on our life the way we want. So the difficulty really was just small things that you encounter, not through the
Yeah.
marriage. The marriage was always solid.
Solid.
It was always solid. It was never
Right.
the marriage never came into the question. It was never the one that you had to work on. It was
Right.
basically the marriage that kept us ahead of all the other troubles.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
like her support to me when I was down about certain things that didn't go right at the business that got me through that. So it was really the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, is respect, love, support, and laughter, and everything else you can build on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And the beginning of our marriage, any marriage, you have to learn how to balance with each other. Sometimes I was thinking that I'm walking on a thin wire, the high up, and if both of you cannot balance correctly, and you don't do a right job, you can
Yeah.
tumble the other one. So is the balance, is the respect, is talking to each other. And unfortunately, these days I see in the young people, they don't want to try harder. I always tell the girls, you have to study hard until you get A plus. So you have to work hard on your marriage. You have to forget, you have to forgive, you have to talk to each other. That's
Yeah.
what he does. And he came from the family that his parents, they divorced. So he wanted a very stable life for his children. And
Yeah.
I came from totally opposite, very strong marriage between my parents,
Right.
very good, loving, caring. His parents, they were very loving, caring. So those are actually played in our relationship.
Right. Right.
Very well about that. He wanted a strong. I came from very strong family background, and that worked. And we lost everything after revolution in Iran, so we
Right.
lost everything.
Right.
And one of the things that we used to emphasize to our children also, and we work hard. We said they took everything from us. House, money, blah, blah,
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
The only thing they couldn't take from us, it was our education. So we insist on their education.
Yeah.
Thank God we were lucky. We have two wonderful girls that they work hard and they study well. And that is the biggest accomplishment, I think, Ali and I, we can say, is our
Right.
children.
For sure.
So you have two girls.
Two girls.
Are either of them married?
No?
No.
No. So what if one of them came to you and said, I just met someone 4 days ago and they proposed, and what do you think about that? what would you say?
I would say, way to go. High five. I love to meet that man.
Yes.
I think some of them, of course, we are talking from a generation of 40 years
Right.
past,
Right.
and our decision-making process was different. The conditions
Right.
of our meetings were different.
Right.
And of course, these days, the younger generation, they have other challenges, that they have to deal with, especially girls, and I only speak from the girl side because I have two daughters. And I totally understand that, it's very difficult to meet the right person. But I think once you do, because everything is so much more open between the boys and the girls these days, that they truly have a much better chance of having a great marriage, because once they find each other, and if they find each other, and if once they commit to each other, the conditions for a man and a woman is so much more on par and so much more even now. And I think they can have a really strong marriage. And so.
Yeah. Wonderful. Now, obviously going from four dates to 40 years, it's an incredible accomplishment.
That's a good one. 40 is a 40 days. I love that. And this year is our 40th anniversary.
Yes. And it seems like there's something about the confidence that you both had, when you first met and developed, the bond. But like you're saying, it wasn't just this automatic good thing. It was something, like you were expounding upon, Mahvash, that you invest in, right? And that you put energy, time in, and obviously like your business, right? You've had success because you've cared for it, right? Not just because it happened, right? The chemistry that been struck by lightning at the Fort Lauderdale airport thing happened, but the marriage didn't just happen. The marriage was a result of
working on
your work.
Absolutely,
that's wonderful.
And also to know that you made the right decision, and then you stick by it.
Well, and I like to say with clients, like making something the right decision, right? Because we can always doubt, right? Doubt is there for all of us. But if we choose something and we kind of are steadfast, right? We have the ability to turn it into the right choice for us. And it seems like that's such a huge part of what y'all have done, right?
Yeah. We've been fortunate, thank God, and, wonderful years. Especially with the birth of our children, and every vacation that we allowed ourselves to take, and the places we went, and lots of great memories. And I think, and the only thing I have to say in whatever is that my aim was always, to say to her and also to my children, life is about moments, small moments. And it's like you have to, as you collect things in life, you have to collect as many of those small happy moments as possible. Because those small moments is what will get you through the toughest things in life.
Yeah, that's true. And I have to say, it has been I sometimes say, Ali, it was very adventurous. He's a diver. He's a skier. He's tennis player. All this, and I wasn't. I wasn't any of that. And then the first big trip we had, we went to Aspen together for a ski trip, and he took me. He got me a ski and stuff. I never skied before. And he took me to Black Run.
Oh, wow.
And when I came down, I wanted to kill him, I have to say. And then I said, why did you do that? So anyway, another thing that I realized that I am afraid of height. I never ski. Sometimes you have to do certain things to make the other person happy, and you learn. And I have to say, because of Ali, I forced myself to learn skiing because I knew he loves the sport, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say, I always enjoyed. I wasn't a good skier. I still afraid of height, but I did that, and I love shopping. So he didn't like going shopping. One of the things now we do, we have a date in the food court in mall, and we go shopping. So I go to Aspen skiing, but I'm happy to he take me to food court to the mall, and we do.
I'm trying to think about what a Black Diamond version of shopping would be. Is that like going to Nordstrom or, like...
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
No benches to sit at, I don't know. Yeah.
It's just to have a little bit of
Yes.
appreciate the other person,
Right.
what they like, and be
Yes.
part of it.
Totally.
To be part, even if you don't like something or if it bothers you. I mean, as I said, I was afraid of height. I didn't know how to ski, But I did it because I knew for a fact that will change our lifestyle. All our
Right.
vacation went with it. And he does the other things because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's give and take.
Yes. It's wonderful to spend this time with you all today to learn about, all the things that you've done to make this such a successful relationship, successful business. And to clarify for the audience here, you all have a rug company?
Yes.
Yeah, we actually manufacture here customized rugs,
Right.
and maybe you can see some of the work
Right.
behind the wall. But
Yes.
basically we do any size and any shape.
Right. Right. And I don't know if you're allowed to mention this. We can cut it out of the podcast if not. But, you have somewhat a famous clientele in the Florida area, I've heard.
Yeah,
Yes,
we've done a lot of the musicians and
Right.
sports, sports people and
Right.
Yeah, we have been very, very lucky
Very.
to come across so many people and learn from our customer. We become like part of each other's life. We chat,
Right.
we talk, and that is the.
and they
part
all
of
love
it.
her, but
Yeah.
I don't think they all love me. But so she's the face of the business.
Yes. Yes.
We have been very fortunate.
Well, a famous person once said, "Fortune favors the bold," right?
Right.
And y'all have been quite bold in your
Yeah.
life, and that has favored you. And
Yeah, for
you
sure.
have wonderful lessons to give. But
sure.
but here's to y'all, 40 years. And,
Thank you. Thank you
here's
so
to many
much.
more. It's wonderful to have you on the podcast.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
having us.
Interviewing us for another 20 years, please.
Yes, we're gonna follow up. We're gonna do a follow up, and see
Thank you so
see
much.
where things go.
Where goes the time?
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Marriage Stories. As always, I am your host, Trevor White. Production of this episode was done by Gabe Martinez. Music provided by OK Carroll. Our website, where you can find all of our episodes and sign up to receive new episodes direct to your inbox, is launchtoland.com. Once again, that's launchtoland.com. Feel free to follow along on all of our social media channels at Launch to Land, as well as our YouTube channel. Starting your own marriage story? Head over to launchtoland.com and check out our premarital counseling video series with host and licensed marriage and family therapist Trevor White. This comprehensive series will prepare you to take off in the marriage you want. Listeners can use a special promo code PROLOGUE to get 15% off your first purchase. Once again, that is promo code PROLOGUE to get 15% off your first purchase. Enjoying marriage stories? Please subscribe, like, share, tell a friend, and leave a 5-star review. And as always, be sure to join us next week as we take another marriage story off the shelf.